My daughter lied about my husband walking in on her, now he's divorcing me and my whole family turned on us. I really need some advice because my phone hasn't stopped blowing up. My entire family is acting like I'm the worst mother in the world just because I'm not blindly taking my daughter's side in this whole mess. I've been married to my husband Mark for 5 years now, and honestly, he's the best thing that's happened to me since the day my daughter was born. We met at a backyard barbecue through some mutual friends. At the time, I wasn't looking for anything serious. My ex had cheated on me with a friend from work, and I was just focused on raising my daughter and managing my retail job. But Mark was different from any guy I'd dated before. Most men either ran the second they found out I had a kid or pretended to be okay with it just to get close to me. But Mark? He actually wanted to know both of us. He'd show up with board games, sit down to help Amy with her math homework, and he never once tried to force some instant father-daughter bond. He was just there, consistent, respectful, never crossing any boundaries. Amy, who's 19 now, always had a decent relationship with him. They weren't exactly close, but they definitely respected each other. That wasn't always the case. My last relationship before Mark was a disaster. The guy's name was Tom, and he came in swinging like he was auditioning to be Amy's new dad. He'd show up uninvited at her school events, tried grounding her like he had some kind of authority, and even asked her to call him dad after only 6 months of dating. It blew up so badly that Amy stopped talking to me for weeks because I stayed with him even after she told me he made her uncomfortable. Things only ended when I caught Tom going through Amy's phone while she was asleep. He said he was just being protective, but that was beyond messed up. So when Mark came into our lives, I was extremely careful. I introduced them slowly, let things develop at their own pace. Mark was great, he helped her with college applications, gave her advice when she asked, but never tried to insert himself too deeply. They never really spent one-on-one time together. Amy even mentioned more than once how relieved she was that I finally found someone who wasn't trying to replace her dad. Everything was fine, until Thursday night. Mark and I were sitting on the couch watching an action movie when he got up to use the bathroom. Our master bathroom's out of commission right now, it's being gutted because the contractors found black mold last month, so the water's completely shut off upstairs. A few moments later, I heard Mark knock twice, 3 clear knocks each time on the main bathroom door. I remember it so clearly because the movie was paused and the house was dead silent except for the knocking. Then out of nowhere, I heard screaming coming from the bathroom. I ran over and saw Amy, completely naked, trying to cover herself while yelling at Mark to get out. I didn't see the actual moment he walked in, but when I got there, Mark was stumbling backward, apologizing nonstop while trying to close the door. Once things settled down a bit, I asked Mark what had happened. He told me he knocked, didn't hear anything, and assumed the bathroom was empty. So he opened the door and saw Amy naked in front of the mirror, and immediately tried to back out. I went to talk to Amy too, just to hear her side. She said she was changing and Mark barged in. I asked why she didn't answer when he knocked, and she insisted he never knocked at all. But I knew he had. I was right there in the quiet living room, and I absolutely heard him knock twice. That's when she finally admitted she'd had her AirPods in. They were a birthday present from Mark just last month, and ever since she got them, she's been wearing them constantly, even around the house. I thought everything was cleared up that night. Mark apologized again and said he truly thought the bathroom was empty. Amy gave him a hug and even apologized for yelling. It felt like an awkward misunderstanding we'd eventually laugh about. Mark even joked that we needed to get the master bathroom fixed ASAP so nothing like that would ever happen again. We went back to watching our movie like normal. Amy even joined us on the couch and made fun of our superhero movie taste, just like she always does. But the next day, everything just completely blew up. My sister started calling nonstop, calling me stupid for letting a creep stay in my home. Then other family members started texting me horrible things about Mark. My mom even called me crying, saying she always had a bad feeling about him. Which is total crap because just last week she had us over for dinner and was literally bragging to her friends about what a wonderful son-in-law Mark is. I was totally lost until I found out what was going on. Amy had gone around telling people a completely different version of what happened. She left out the whole AirPods part and told people that she had answered when Mark knocked, but he walked in anyway and stared at her before leaving. She even added that he took his time looking at her before closing the door. Thankfully, we have hallway security cameras. Mark installed them last year after there were car break-ins on our street. The footage shows him knocking twice, waiting both times, then slowly opening the door. You can't hear anything, but it's clear he backed away as soon as he saw her. No hesitation. I sat Amy down and confronted her. At first, she denied ever saying anything different or even telling anyone. I was furious and asked how my sister would know if she hadn't told someone. That's when she went quiet, then admitted she had told her cousin, who must have told my sister. When I asked her why she would lie and make Mark look like some kind of predator, she kept denying it was a lie. I repeated exactly what my sister said she told her, and Amy started crying and apologizing. She said she was just talking and kind of spinning fake scenarios while chatting with her cousin. The past few days have been a nightmare. More family members keep calling and sending me the most hateful messages about Mark, all because Amy's twisted story is spreading like wildfire. My brother even showed up at Mark's job and tried to confront him. Thank God his boss knows both of us well and had security escort my brother out. I showed Amy some of the vile stuff people are saying and told her she needs to fix it. Her lies started this, and now Mark's name is being dragged through the mud. But she refused. She said she didn't tell people herself, only her cousin, and now she's scared that admitting the truth will make her look bad. She keeps saying people know Mark, they'll realize it was a misunderstanding. But it's not blowing over, it's getting worse every day. It all came to a head yesterday when Mark walked into the living room with his bags packed. He said he was going to stay with his parents for a while because he can't handle being treated like a pervert when he didn't do anything wrong. Amy broke down crying, begged him not to go, promised she'd clear everything up, but he still walked out. And honestly, I don't blame him. My family is acting like he's some kind of predator when all he did was walk in on someone after knocking twice and not getting an answer. I looked Amy straight in the eye and told her if this ends in divorce, she's out. I told her flat out that she needs to own up to what really happened and fix this mess, because I am not losing the best man I've ever had over a damn lie. I told Amy straight up, if this marriage falls apart because of her lies, she's going to be the one packing her bags. She started begging me to help fix things, but I refused. She's not a little girl anymore. These attention-seeking lies she keeps telling? They created this mess, and now it's on her to clean it up. She tried saying she was just embarrassed about being walked in on, but that doesn't justify making up a story that could destroy someone's entire life. I did what I could at first. I showed the security footage to family, explained what really happened, tried to clear things up. But now, instead of helping, everyone's just accusing me of choosing my husband over my daughter, of creating an unsafe environment for her. My sister is out here telling people I'm choosing Dick over my own child, and my mom won't stop sending me articles about grooming and abuse as if I haven't thought about all that already. I feel like I'm losing my grip. Mark barely speaks to me beyond saying he needs space, Amy is crying every other hour, and I'm stuck in the middle, losing my mind. The worst part is, this isn't even the first time Amy's done something like this. Back when she was 16, she told her friends I was physically abusive because I grounded her for sneaking out to a party. That lie spiraled fast. One of the parents called CPS, and everything turned into chaos. The investigation was a nightmare. They interviewed all her teachers, checked her for bruises, combed through our house from top to bottom. I almost lost my job because I had to keep taking time off for meetings with social workers. Eventually, Amy confessed she made the whole thing up because she was mad at me and wanted sympathy from her friends. After that, we got her into therapy. Things seemed to be improving. Her therapist said Amy has abandonment issues from when her dad walked out after I got pregnant at 17. Apparently, when she feels insecure, she acts out for attention. And while I tried to be patient through all that, she's not a teenager anymore, she's 19. She can't keep hurting people just to feel seen. Mark has done nothing but go above and beyond for her since he came into our lives. Just last year, he helped buy her a brand new car because he didn't want her driving my old clunker to college. He pays the bills so I can work part-time and have more flexibility. Without even being asked, he set up a college fund for Amy and has been quietly adding to it every month. For my last birthday, he surprised me by paying off the rest of my student loans, wiped out years of debt just so I could breathe easier. This man has been nothing but respectful, supportive, and generous. And now he's being called a creep and a predator by the same people who were just praising him at our last barbecue for paying Amy's tuition and getting her that car. I had to delete my Facebook. People I've known for years are out there posting that I'm enabling abuse, spreading lies and garbage like that. I know Amy was embarrassed. I know it was uncomfortable. But if Mark had actually done something inappropriate or crossed a line, I would have been the first to throw him out. No hesitation. But he didn't. He knocked, more than once. No response. He walked in thinking the bathroom was empty and immediately backed out once he saw her. We even have it all on camera. But Amy's version of events, her lie, is tearing his reputation to shreds and dragging our entire marriage down with it, all because she had her AirPods in and didn't hear the knock. I get being startled. I get feeling exposed. But turning around and lying about someone who's only ever shown you kindness? That's not just messed up, that's cruel. Mark was the first man who ever treated both me and Amy with true respect. After her dad walked away the second I told him I was pregnant, I didn't think I'd ever meet someone willing to accept me and my daughter. Every guy I dated either acted like Amy didn't exist or went too far trying to play stepdad. Mark struck the perfect balance. And now that might all be gone because Amy decided, again, to spin some dramatic story to get attention. Update 1. Sorry it took me a few days to respond. I'm honestly not in a good headspace and needed time to collect myself. Mark asked for a divorce. I feel like everything's collapsing, faster than I can even try to fix it. Let me answer some questions that keep popping up. Yes, we have locks on all our doors. I have no idea why Amy didn't lock the bathroom. It's something I've been trying to get her to do since she was a kid, but she's always been careless about it. And no, we don't have cameras inside any rooms, only in the hallway and outside entrances. Mark put them in after someone tried breaking into cars on our street last year. As for the master bathroom, we haven't been able to use it at all. Contractors found black mold behind the tiles last month, and they had to gut the entire thing. The water shut off up there until the renovation's finished. Mark came back this past Friday to talk. He showed me his phone, and reading the messages from my family made me want to throw up. They were calling him a pedophile, asking how many times he's watched Amy before, saying they always had a bad feeling about him. These are the same people who were just sitting in our backyard last month, praising him for helping pay for her college and calling him a stand-up guy. Then my brother Mike posted some garbage on Facebook about how he always knew something was off and how he caught Mark staring at Amy last Christmas. That's complete bull. Mark wasn't staring, he was helping Amy set up the laptop he'd just given her. Meanwhile, Mike was passed out drunk on our couch like he is at every family event. Now it started affecting Mark's job. Some of my family members actually contacted his workplace. My sister Lisa found out where he works and emailed his entire department accusing him of being a predator. He got dragged into HR to explain everything. They're not taking any disciplinary action, there's no case, and he showed them the hallway footage. But his reputation there? It's taken a hit. People talk. Damage like that can't be undone. That conversation with HR broke him. Mark told me he loves me, and he's grateful I've stood by him. But he said Amy's lies did more than hurt his feelings, they've wrecked his peace of mind. Every day, he's either at work or hiding out at his parents' house, waiting for the police to show up and arrest him. The fear has eaten him alive. He hasn't slept. He keeps having nightmares that he's being handcuffed and dragged out in front of everyone. His mom told me he barely eats and just sits in his old room reading all the horrible things people are saying about him online. I begged him not to leave. I offered to do whatever it takes, kick Amy out, go to therapy, cut ties with my family. I even showed him that I'd blocked everyone who spread those lies. I suggested we move, start fresh. He has a job offer waiting for him in Seattle from last year, and I told him we could still take it. But he said I was missing the point. His life could have been completely ruined because of one lie. And even if Amy comes clean now, it might not change anything. People will think we pressured her into it. They'll believe we're covering something up. And if we disappear, they'll say it's to escape justice. When I said we could go no contact with my family, he asked what would happen to Amy. I told him maybe she could stay with my parents. Then he asked me a question I wasn't ready for: would I be willing to completely cut her out of my life? He made it clear, he doesn't want to be around her ever again, and he doesn't feel safe being alone in the same house with her. Before I could even answer, he said he'd never ask me to abandon my child, and if I did it for him, he wouldn't be able to respect me. When Mark told me divorce was the only option, I didn't even know how to respond. He broke down crying as he said it. In all the years I've known him, I've only seen him cry twice, once at our wedding, and again when his dad had a heart attack last year. Amy came running into the room, already in tears. Turns out she had been listening to everything from the hallway. Before she could even open her mouth, Mark jumped up and backed away. He held his hands up and said, "Don't come any closer." Then he pulled out his phone and told her, "Whatever you're about to say, I'm recording it." The look on Amy's face when she realized Mark didn't feel safe being alone with her without documenting it, it was brutal. She tried to apologize, sobbing that she never meant for it to get so far out of hand. She admitted again that she and her cousin were just goofing around, making up what-if scenarios, and that her cousin was the one who ran with it. Mark calmly asked why she didn't set the record straight when she saw how bad things were getting. She said she thought it would all just blow over because everyone knows what kind of person he is. Mark showed her the messages he's been getting, vile, threatening stuff, and she just went silent. We talked for nearly 4 hours that night, but it didn't change anything. Mark told me we had 3 months to move out. The house is his, he owned it before I ever came into the picture. He said Amy could keep the car, since it was a gift, and he'd go ahead and finish paying her tuition for this year, but after that, he's done. He hasn't hired an attorney yet, but he told me I should get one. He wants things to go smoothly, but he also wants me to be legally protected. He said he doesn't hold any resentment toward me, but after everything that's happened, he just can't stay in the marriage. And then, unbelievably, he apologized. He said he was sorry for not being stronger, for not being able to work through this. As if any of this was his fault. Amy just sat on the floor like a ghost, crying so hard she could barely breathe, while Mark went over divorce terms like it was a business transaction. It was surreal. I barely remember the rest of that night. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the house. Later, I looked out the window and saw his car still in the driveway. He was sitting behind the wheel, crying. That image completely gutted me. This is the man who helped me rebuild my life. The one who treated my daughter better than her own father ever did. And now he's emotionally shattered because of lies. I haven't spoken to Amy since that night. She's finally told the truth. She sent out messages to family and shared the security footage that proves Mark did knock before walking in. And now the same people who dragged his name through the mud are suddenly knocking at my door trying to apologize. I don't open it. When I block their numbers, they message me from different ones. When I cut them off on social media, they make fake accounts. My sister even had her teenage son pretend to be one of Amy's classmates just so I'd read her apology. It's disgusting. These are the same people who were calling my husband a predator just days ago. And now they think a half-hearted sorry makes it all better? I can't stop thinking about how much I stand to lose. Mark is the only man who's ever loved me in a real way. When I got pregnant with Amy at 17, her father disappeared, blocked me, left the state, just vanished. Every guy I dated after that either treated me like a broken project or tried to take over my life. But not Mark. He never treated me like a burden. He never tried to control me. He just loved me, for me, and embraced my daughter without hesitation. I've begged him to go to couples counseling. I offered to do anything, cut ties with my family, move across the country, whatever it takes. But all he keeps saying is, I can't take that risk. I tried to see him at work, but his boss had already sent him home. I went to his parents' house, hoping to talk. His mom opened the door, saw me, and started crying. She said Mark hasn't been himself since this all started. I feel completely helpless. Moving Amy out now wouldn't change anything. Mark already said he'd lose respect for me if I abandoned her. And even if I left with her, the damage is already done. But if I stay with Amy, I lose the one good relationship I've ever had. My daughter's lies are tearing apart the only stable, loving relationship I've ever been in. And this isn't even the first time she's done something like this. She pulled the same crap years ago with the CPS call. But this time? She may have destroyed multiple lives. And for what? Update 2. It's been a while, and I know people were asking for updates. I haven't posted because, truthfully, I've been crying myself to sleep every single night. My life is completely shattered. The divorce is official now. I've been served. Mark doesn't want contact. Not with me. Not with Amy. I moved out and have been staying with a friend while I try to figure out what's next. She's the only one who's stayed by my side. Everyone else either believed Amy's story or tried to sweep it under the rug after the truth came out. I've cut off contact with my family, but they keep finding ways to reach me, new phone numbers, burner accounts, messages through other people. And now it's starting to affect my friend too. Some of my family members actually showed up at her apartment. One of the neighbors already complained to her landlord about the commotion. She works from home, and having people knock on her door all day is messing up her life too. I need to move out and find my own place, but my finances are a mess. I had to go back to full-time hours at the retail job I once swore I'd never return to. Back when Mark and I were together, he paid most of the bills, and I could work part-time. It gave me the freedom to help Amy with school, keep the house running, and actually breathe. That life is gone now. Amy packed up and vanished about a week ago. I have no idea where she went. Her friends aren't talking, and I'm not going to chase her down. She tried reaching out to Mark a few times, but after she kept showing up at his office and his parents' house, he got a restraining order. And she still violated it. She waited outside his work again. That was the final straw. I've lost my husband, my daughter, and the life I worked so hard to build, all in the span of a month. And it all started with one lie that never should have left her mouth. Mark had her arrested. I still don't know what the hell Amy was thinking. She kept saying she could fix everything, but all she did was dig the hole deeper. She violated the restraining order again by showing up at his job right in the parking lot where his coworkers could see. That was it. The damage to his reputation is permanent now. There's no way he can fully recover from that at work. She's going to have to drop out of college, too. After the arrest, Mark withdrew his promise to keep paying for her tuition or any of her expenses. He sent me one final message that cut through everything. He's completely done with both of us. He said I didn't respect his wishes when I didn't leave his house immediately, and Amy ignored the restraining order, so that's it. He told me that if either of us tries to contact him again, he'll file a defamation suit against Amy. His lawyer already sent over a letter listing out all the damages, the career setbacks, the therapy bills, the emotional toll, the reputation loss. If he moves forward with it, Amy could end up owing him thousands. And I don't even have enough money to feed myself right now, let alone help her. When I told Amy she'd need to drop out of school and get a job, she packed her things in the middle of the night and disappeared. No warning, no conversation, just gone. All she left behind was a short note. She said she was sorry for ruining everything and that she needed time to figure herself out. Just like her father, when things get hard, she runs. As for Mark, he's gone emotionally. Whatever warmth he used to have for me, it's been replaced with ice. He won't talk to me directly anymore, only through lawyers. He told me that he had planned to help me get back on my feet, but now he sees it differently. He said it's clear to him that we just took advantage of his generosity, and he's done. He was even willing to waive our prenup at first. But not now. He's sticking to it, which means I walk away with basically nothing. And honestly, I'm not even upset about that part. The prenup was my idea. I wanted him to know from the beginning that I wasn't after his money. I just never thought I'd end up here, 36 years old, starting over from scratch. I don't care about the house. I don't care about money or stuff. I just want my husband back. I want the kind, steady man who made me believe I wasn't broken or worthless just because I got pregnant too young. The man who taught me how to love again after years of being let down. I tried one last time to tell him Amy had moved out and that I wanted to work things out between us. He didn't even reply. The last message I got from him was asking whether I'd signed the divorce papers or hired a lawyer to go over them. He said he wants to wrap up this mess and move on because he believes no one in my family, including me, ever truly respected him. That crushed me. Because it's not true. I respected him more than anyone I've ever known. I still do. He also told me to get my family to leave him alone. Apparently, my brother Mike showed up at Mark's parents' house drunk, yelling some nonsense about how Mark turned the family against him. Mark said if this keeps up, he'll report them for harassment too. His parents are elderly, and his dad's heart condition has been getting worse because of all this stress. My family is literally making a sick old man worse just because they can't admit that they screwed up. All because they believed the lies instead of waiting for the truth. And for those asking what I did when the lies first started, believe me, I tried. I explained what happened. I showed the security footage. But people didn't want the truth, they wanted someone to blame. And since the footage didn't have audio, Amy kept saying she told him not to come in. By the time she admitted she never heard him knock, the rumors had already spread like wildfire. It was too late. Even Mark's relatives from other states were calling him, asking what the hell happened. Now I've lost everything. My marriage is over. My daughter is gone. My family won't stop harassing me. And I'm one step away from being homeless once my friend eventually gets tired of all the chaos. The worst part is knowing this could have been avoided. If Amy had just told the truth right away or even corrected the story when it started spiraling, none of this would have happened. But she was more worried about looking bad. So now we're all paying the price. And here I am back to working soul-draining retail shifts, sleeping on a friend's couch, barely making enough to cover groceries. My daughter has vanished into God knows where instead of taking accountability. My soon-to-be ex-husband won't even look me in the eye. And my family? Still trying to make things right by continuing to harass the very people they destroyed. The only small mercy in this entire nightmare is that Mark's lawyer said he won't press charges if everyone backs off and leaves him alone. That's all I have left. One final scrap of decency in a mess I can't clean up anymore.